Hey y'all, it's Sierra, aka Capricorn Moon Goddess, back with another video for you all. Um, my neighbor is playing some music, so hopefully y'all cannot hear it. But this video is going to be signs that you have a toxic mother. We are going to use the word toxic instead of using a psychological diagnosis like narcissist or sociopath and things like that, because A, I'm not a psychologist, and B, most of the time these people aren't going to the psychologist anyways, because going to the psychologist is a part of taking accountability. So they are afraid of taking accountability. So I guess we can say that's a number one sign that you may have a toxic parent. They have an issue with taking accountability. They have an issue with admitting that they're wrong, that they did something wrong, that they handled something the wrong way. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's something about taking accountability and admitting that they're wrong that they just absolutely cannot do. I've talked about in other videos, this could have something to do with shame. They don't want to feel the shame of being wrong, especially if they have any sort of trauma that is connected to shame. There could be so many reasons why people don't want to take accountability, but that's one of the number one signs of a toxic parent. They don't want to take accountability for things that they have done wrong. Number two, they have delusions of persecution or grandeur, meaning that they think people are always out to get them or persecute them, or they think they are just bigger than what they are. They think they are God. They have a God complex. They think what they think is the most important, or they feel like all eyes are on them to the point where they become obsessed with being perfect or having a perfect image. They're not obsessed with necessarily being perfect because they won't take accountability for certain things in order for them to be a better parent, which to me, if you're a better parent, you're more perfect than if you're a toxic parent. But they are obsessed with the image of perfection, so portraying the perfect life or that you have the perfect relationship, because for whatever reason they think everyone is worried about what they're doing, so they become obsessed with image. And people probably aren't even really paying attention to them like that. Like, oh my God, I can't admit that I'm wrong or that I don't have the best relationship with my child or whatever, because people are all going to be looking at me a certain type of way. And it's like, people have their own lives and their own issues with their own children. They're not even worried about you like that. Or they just think people are constantly out to get them. They are very, very defensive. So when you try to bring up something that they may have said or done that hurts you or that you didn't like, they cannot handle it. They flip out. They start to project. They start to turn things around and make it seem like you just have an issue with perception, or you just have an issue, you're too sensitive or something like that. I can't say anything. I can't do anything without it being wrong. And they start to go into how they're affected versus how you're affected by their actions. Okay. They may even admit that they did something wrong, but still focus more on your reaction to their wrongdoing or to their offense than the actual offense. Yeah, I did do this wrong, but you're overreacting, or you should have known that I didn't mean to do it. They may say things like, well, that wasn't my intent, and you should have known. You should have given me the benefit of the doubt that I did not mean to hurt you. Yes, I may have hurt you, but I wasn't trying to. So why are you upset? Like, just keep it moving. Like, you know, I didn't mean it. They may say things like, God knows my heart. God knows my heart. Only God can judge me and all that, stuff to try to avoid accountability. They'll take accountability when it's time to be at the pearly gates, seeing if they can get in heaven or not. God can only judge them. People in their lives can't judge them. Their children can't judge them. Their coworkers can't judge them. The people in their community can't judge them. Even though you are affected by their actions, by the things that they say, and by the things that they do, you don't have a right to offer an opinion. Or even if you offer an opinion based on facts or come to a conclusion based on their actual behavior, only God can judge them. You cannot judge them, okay? Let me see what else. I have these. I texted these things to myself while I was supposed to be asleep last night. I was like randomly getting things and I started texting it to myself. So another one is a constant need of external validation. They constantly need you to validate them, but they don't necessarily give you the same benefit. So I'm trying not to use personal examples from my life. So if I'm taking a pause, it's because I'm thinking about a personal example, but I don't want to use it because anyway. So they may require you to constantly validate them, tell them they're pretty, they look nice. Maybe even on social media, like if you tell them, oh, you look nice today, but you don't like their post on social media or comment on their post, they're calling you like, hey, how come you didn't like my post? How come you didn't comment on my post? You constantly have to help them out. If they have a business, if they have a product that they're selling, if they have a service, they expect you to push that product, push that service. They expect you to advertise for them. They expect you to tell everyone about it. And then when you have a product or a service that you want to start and you want them to do the same thing, they can't return the favor. So a lot of times they expect things out of you, but they won't return the favor. Okay. They need you to constantly tell them how great they are, but it's like pulling teeth to try to get a compliment from them. Okay. Another thing is they have problems with recognizing your achievements, or your greatness, or just things that you have done well. For the life of me, I could not and still cannot figure out why my mom was so upset when I got pregnant with my son. I got pregnant at 19. I had him at 20, but I was taking care of my own son. I didn't need her to help me. And she would never tell me Happy Mother's Day. Like, I would call her and be like, Happy Mother's Day. And she would be like, thanks. And that's it. Like... And it was just always weird because when I would go to the store and I had my son with me, the cashier would be like, Happy Mother's Day. My coworkers are like, Happy Mother's Day. My sisters are like, Happy Mother's Day. But for whatever reason, my mom could not tell me Happy Mother's Day. I just didn't know. And finally, after years of me having a child, I was like, what is the problem? Why can't you just tell me Happy Mother's Day? Like, why is that so hard? And she was just like, oh, I didn't even know this. I didn't do it. I didn't realize I wasn't doing it. And it just never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. She wasn't happy at all that I got pregnant in the first place. But again, I don't know why, because she didn't treat my sisters the same way. So it's like they can't recognize that you have accomplished something they've accomplished. Like, I'm the mom here. I'm not going to tell you Happy Mother's Day, but she didn't have a problem telling other people. So it may be something like that. Or it may be once you start making big boy money, big girl money, you got a job where maybe your job is better than your mom's, or you're making more money than them, or you're happier, or you have better benefits or whatever. They have a hard time accepting that. Part of it could be because they have an issue with you being independent. They need you to be codependent on them. So you may have a sibling or siblings where that sibling is very codependent. They have to lean on your mom for a lot of help. They're always in and out of trouble. Your mom's always having to bail them out of trouble. And it seems like that child could be the favorite. You're like, wait. You're not supposed to have a favorite child. But if you don't have a favorite child, it dang sure ain't supposed to be one that's always causing you so much stress. Well, they may like the fact that that child is codependent and that child needs them. That child is beneath them. They don't like the fact that you're independent and you may not need them, okay? Then you may have a parent where they offer to do things for you and they offer to help you out just so they can use it against you. So when you do get to a point where you may need their help for something, they are happy to do it, but they're going to bring it up and they're going to throw it in your face, or they're going to volunteer to do something but then complain the entire time, just making you feel horrible, feeling bad, like, well, if you didn't want to help me, then why did you say you would help me if you're just going to complain the entire time? So you may have a parent that likes to use things against you, or feel like you owe them for existing, okay? You owe them just for existing. They brought you into this world. You didn't ask to be here, but they brought you into this world. They did the bare minimum to make sure you, had proper food, proper clothing, proper shelter, whatever. You may have even been a great help to your parent, helping to raise your other siblings, helping to keep the house going and things like, especially if you're the oldest child, or let's say you're the girl in a house full of boys or something like that. They can't give you credit for the things you've done to help them. You owe them simply for being here. Period. Okay. Let me see what else I have on my list. This is gonna have to be 2 videos because, oh, how did I forget selective memory? A big sign that you can have a toxic parent is if they have selective memory. They don't remember things factually. They don't remember things in the right order. They don't remember things how they actually happened. You could literally witness them do something or say something or be a part of an event that they're a part of, and or argument or something like that, and when they retell the story, they will retell the story to you an entirely different way, as if you weren't there to witness it, as if you were not a participant, as if you don't know what happened. Their memory only serves them. So the way they are going to remember the event is going to be in a way that takes away from the negative things that they added, or it's going to be to add towards the positive input that they had. So they're going to make themselves look better, or they're going to remember something in a way that justifies their irrational behavior or something like that. They don't remember things how they actually happened, and they will argue you up and down about what actually happened as if you don't know. You could literally show them proof. You could let's say you're texting them and you're arguing with them and they say, I didn't say that, I didn't do this, and you literally pull out your phone. This is a text message where you said exactly what I said you said. They still are gonna act like they didn't just see the proof. And a lot of times they'll just keep repeating what they're saying over and over again, as if they keep repeating it, it's basically gonna beat you down and wear you down until you just accept it. You may feel bullied by your parent. You may feel like they are trying to beat you into submission, not necessarily physically, but by, I'm going to constantly keep repeating something that's not true until you just accept it, or I'm going to yell, I'm going to scream, I'm going to argue you down until you just say, you know what, you're right. They cannot agree to disagree. So they will be bothered by the fact that you don't just give in and say, you're right. Let's say you say, you know what? I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of fighting. Let's just agree to disagree. I feel how I feel. You feel how you feel. That's not good enough. They need you to walk away completely agreeing with them. They need you to tell them they are right. If you don't do that, that's a problem. So you may find that you may be trying to de-escalate an argument. They want to keep going. They want to have text wars. They want to text you all day, paragraphs and storybooks about what you did wrong and you shouldn't have did this and you shouldn't have did that. Let's say you're like, you know what? Have a nice day. We can agree to disagree, whatever. I have things I need to do. I don't have time to text you back and forth. You don't, and then you leave it at that. They text you back, you don't respond. Now they're calling you over and over again. So it's a sign that you can have a toxic parent is if when they have to argue. They cannot let an argument go. They don't want to de-escalate the argument. They want to beat you into submitting to them and saying that they're right, okay? So having your own mind, being an independent thinker is an issue if your way of thinking does not align with their way of thinking, if your perspective doesn't align with their perspective, if your opinion doesn't align with their opinion, even if the facts are contrary to what they want to put out there, they have an issue with you stating the facts. A lot of times, if you have a toxic parent, they will project a lot. So they will be a bully. They will be a liar. They will be a hypocrite. They will tell you, you're the bully, you're the liar, you're hypocritical, you're inconsiderate. And it's like, well, that's exactly how you treat me. How are you saying I'm the one doing these things? Or if they're not saying it to you, they're saying it to other people. They're telling other people these things about you. But if you ask for an example, they can't really give you a good example. Meanwhile, you got a whole list of examples you can give them about how they actually are the ones that display that behavior. So it can be very, very confusing. It's almost like you're on punked. It's almost like, are you serious? How are you going to sit here and tell me I'm doing these things when you're the one who actually does these things? You can feel very confused because sometimes they're nice to you, sometimes they're not nice, sometimes they are sad and they want your validation. You can sit down and have a very good conversation with them where you're able to say, hey, I don't like the way you treat me. It makes me feel XYZ. And 1 minute they'll be like, yeah, I understand. I was angry. I shouldn't have said what I said. I should have taken time to calm down. I do need to go get anger management, this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay, cool. Then a couple days later, they're doing it again. Whatever they did that made y'all have to sit down and have that talk, they're doing it again. Another sign that you have a toxic parent is when they seem like allergic to the thought of going to a psychologist, or they agree they need to go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but they never actually do it. They don't want to go because at the end of the day, they know that they're wrong and they don't want to be held accountable by someone outside of the situation that is unbiased, because then they really have to accept that the way that they behave is unacceptable. Sorry, my nose is running. Oh my God. Not only is my nose running, but I'm hearing that because of the storm, people might be on that same thing they was in 2020 when they was taking all the tissue from the store and this and that. So I'm like, shoot, I gotta get some tissue today because I've been going through the tissue and blowing my nose. Okay, back to the video. So yeah, they seem like they're allergic to going to a psychologist, but they may lie and tell you that they went to get counseling or they went to a psychologist, and they will tell you the psychologist said they were right. Yeah, I went to therapy and the psychologist said I was right. Most of the time, psychologists isn't really going to say you're right or wrong. They may say your feelings are valid, or they may, but they're not going to be like, you're right and your kids are absolutely wrong. Like, they lie a lot. A sign that you can have a toxic parent is they lie. They're a pathological liar. They lie so much, they don't even realize they're lying when they lie. It just smooth comes out. You have to have a very good memory when you're dealing with these people. You have to remember what they said, when they said it, how they said it. You have to remember what you said, when you said it, how you said it, because they lie so much. You have to be able to think quickly with these people and call them out. Like, hey, they're telling a story, and you will have to interrupt them, and they'll be mad when you interrupt, but you'll have to be like, hey, wait, that little detail you just said, that's a lie. You didn't say that, or you did say that. You didn't do that, or you did do that. I didn't say that. Like, you have to call them out constantly to the point where it does seem like you're always having to tell them you're wrong or this isn't right. So they may then be like, you think you know everything. You think you're always right. And it's like, no, you're just always lying. So I always have to tell you you're lying. Like, that's not true. And you start to wonder, do they believe their own lies? You may have a toxic parent if it feels like they are always lying, but they actually believe their lies. It's like they're delusional. Very, very delusional. They believe their own lies. You have to be very mentally sharp because they will try to trick you. They will try to use wording that's tricky. A lot of the times they're very devious, they're very duplicitous, and they do things behind the scenes. So they will be very passive aggressive sometimes. There's an undertone to everything they say or everything they do. So on the surface, it may look like they're giving you a compliment, or it may look like they're saying something that's not really that harmful, but you know deep down there's a double meaning to that. You know that they really meant something else. You know that they're really being like manipulative with what they're trying to say or do. And people around you may not be able to pick up on this because they don't know your parent as well as you do. So on the surface, they may look like they're very nice. They may be very nice to other people. They may be very helpful. You may have people coming up, I love your mom so much. She's so helpful. She's so easy to talk to, this, that, and the other. And you're like, try living with her. Try being her kid or whatever. So it's like, they do things behind your back. You may have people coming up to you saying, hey, your mom told me this about you. Your mom said this or that. And it'll be something that's a lie, but it's something to make you look bad. They tell stories. They make up stories about you. Like I said, they will project and say, I think my child hates me, when it's like, no, you really hate me and you're always torturing me all the time. They do things to get sympathy from other people, and they feel like they have to rally the troops. They feel like they have to get people on their side to go against you. That's a toxic parent, okay? But they don't admit to this. They're very two-faced. So you may hear from someone that they said something about you. They will deny it till they die. They will deny till they die. I didn't say that. I didn't do that. You can literally have somebody send you a screenshot of what they said and did, but then they're going to try to find another way to get out of it, or I didn't mean it like that, or I forgot. Once they get caught in a lie, they forgot. Oh, I forgot I said that. I forgot I did that. I have so much going on. I can't remember everything I say and everything I do, but I'm pretty sure there's a good reason why I said that, or a good reason why I did that. I mean, talking to them is like talking to a wall. It's like talking to a 5-year-old. It's like ridiculous. They also have like a sense of ownership because you are their child. So they may use that rhetoric, that old school rhetoric. You could be an adult, but you're still their child. So you don't talk to your mom that way. You don't call your mom a liar. I don't care if she is a flat out liar. You don't call her out for lying. You don't hold your parent accountable. Your parent holds you accountable. Your parent can do whatever they want, say whatever they want, act however they want, and you just allow them to live in that delusion because you don't get to call your parents out. Stay in a child place. I don't care if you're a grown-up. Stay in a child's place. They may use the Bible to try to justify their toxicity a lot. That can be a sign of a toxic parent, okay? This is why a lot of people are moving away from religion. They could even be a religious fanatic because people like to use religion to manipulate and to control other people and to uphold themselves in their own wrong. And remember, even if they are wrong, only God can judge them. You can't judge them, okay? I have more on the list, but this video is already over 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video there. So thank you for taking the time to watch. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow, and have a great day. Toodles.